Electric scooter or electric bike? Which is the better choice? Well, great news, I'm here to help you find an answer. See, not too long ago, I was faced with a similar question and ultimately ended up with both. After putting several hundred miles on them, I've documented the pros and cons for each and am ready to lay it all out there to help you decide which is best for you. So let's jump into this. First off is portability. Generally speaking, e-scooters are much more portable and easier to store than bicycles. They typically have collapsible stems and generally weigh less than their e-bike counterparts. Now, the exception to all of this is foldable bikes, and while those are much easier to store and fit into cars than traditional bikes, they are still heavy and clunky. I find it much less of a hassle to toss a scooter in the trunk of my car than it is to fold up my bike, lift it into the car, and position it in a way that allows me to close the tailgate. Still, this is way better than dealing with a bike rack. Scooters are also much easier to store indoors than bikes given their overall smaller form factor. If you live in an apartment or dorm room or need to go up a flight of stairs, a scooter will likely be much easier to haul around. Maintenance. Most scooters have fewer moving parts thanks to their direct drive motors and lack of pedals, derailleurs, gears, and chains. Less maintenance means more time enjoying the ride. And with that being said, there are bike shops all over the place, but not nearly as many places that service scooters. So, if you run into a situation where maintenance is required on your bike, help is likely more readily available than it would be for a scooter. Stability. Electric scooters are loads of fun, but they are inherently less stable than e-bikes. For example, on a bike, if I have an itch on my neck, I can easily take my hand off the handlebar and scratch. Not so much with a scooter. Taking your hand off the handlebar on a scooter can result in the wobbles and loss of control. Scooters also have much smaller wheels, making them less adept at tackling potholes and uneven terrain. Because of this, you'll definitely want to be on the alert for irregularities in the riding surface if you're zipping around on a scooter at high speed. Charging. Most e-scooters you see on the market today have integrated batteries, meaning they are built in and not removable. On the other hand, e-bikes typically have removable batteries, allowing you to pop the battery out and bring it inside to charge. With my scooter, I have to bring the whole thing in the house while charging so I can keep an eye on it. Having a removable battery is definitely a plus as it opens up more charging possibilities. Parts availability. The great thing about e-bikes is that they share most of the same components as their non-powered counterparts. That means if something breaks or needs to be replaced, parts are likely readily available at your local bike shop. Scooters often have a variety of proprietary components made by their respective manufacturers. If they stop producing the part, you're likely out of luck. Cost. E-bikes and e-scooters come in many different shapes, sizes, and price points, but on average, e-scooters tend to cost less than e-bikes, which makes sense. They typically have smaller batteries and fewer components. So, if cost is a factor, a scooter may be the way to go. Range anxiety. Many scooters and e-bikes typically get anywhere from 15 to 40 miles on a single charge. I say typically because there are variants in both categories that get 70 plus miles per charge, which is insane. But what happens when the juice runs out? On a bike, you can continue pedaling. It won't be nearly as easy as in pedal assist mode, but at least you're moving. On a scooter, without power, you'll need to resort to either kicking or propelling yourself with one foot, which sucks, or simply walking it to your destination, not a fun option either. Hill climbability. If there are lots of hills in your area, especially steep ones that cover large distances, you'll want to pay attention here. Over the last several months, I've put both my scooter and e-bike through a series of tests in order to find their limits. Over light to medium grade hills, both perform reasonably well. When it comes to steep hills, especially ones that go on for extended distances, your average e-bike will be much better suited than your average e-scooter in covering the distance. The biggest reason for this is that with most e-bikes, you're able to help the bike with your own pedaling effort, unlike an e-scooter, which is doing 100% of the work. Storage capacity. Given the shape of a scooter and the shape of a bike, it goes without saying that bikes are better suited to hauling stuff around. You can add baskets to the front and rear of bikes, as well as leverage saddlebags and other storage solutions. With scooters, you're typically limited to a stem-mounted bag or a backpack, and that's pretty much it. Now my favorite category, fun. I'm not alone when I say that e-scooters are way more fun to ride than e-bikes. E-scooters give you the sensation of surfing on the streets while you carve away at the pavement. Bikes, on the other hand, aren't as exciting. I mean, don't get me wrong, e-bikes are plenty of fun to ride, but there's just something about hopping onto a scooter and zipping around the road that gives you a level of exhilaration that you just can't find on your typical e-bike. So, there you have it. My thoughts on e-bikes versus e-scooters. For me, I love them both and typically cycle through them every week. As for which is best suited for you will depend on your specific needs. If hauling a bunch of stuff around town is a priority for you, an e-bike is likely your best bet given its greater storage capacity. If portability and the ability to store your electric vehicle indoors is a must, an e-scooter may be best for you. And if you're looking for something that offers an effortless ride experience with the flexibility of getting a workout in every now and then, an e-bike may be right up your alley. I hope the information I provided in this video helps you with your decision in choosing an e-bike or electric scooter. Let me know in the comments what your preference is or which way you're leaning. If you haven't already, consider subscribing as I'll be posting more in-depth videos that cover both electric scooters and e-bikes.